Hello, everyone. This is Amani's Vibe, and welcome back to my channel. And I'm here to talk about Love Island games. Now, in Canada, they listed as episode 12, but it looks like on Peacock they listed as episode 14. So I am here to talk about, I'm going to call it the Gladiator episode. And I wanted to say, if you're enjoying my channel, all the different things that I talk about and post about, keeping up with Islanders from other seasons. But right now, I have been actually being consistent with doing these recap slash think pieces on Love Island Games Season 2, then you know what to do. I'm going to ask you to please like and subscribe. Now, the night starts with the Power Squad talking or conspiring about what they're going to do and who they should put up for the duel. It's going to be 2 men and 2 women. And they got the direction that the way that they're going to choose the people that are going to duel is that they are going to give them a kiss. Okay? So then they proceed to kiss people. Oh, what a show. What a show. So we as the audience actually don't know who's going to kiss who or what's going to happen. And what I think is interesting, and this is not the first time Sydney has done this, I literally feel like Sydney has a sixth sense. She's kind of like always doing this foreshadowing. So they're all like gathered out there in the, I don't know what you call it, where they gather. Anyway, they're all gathered, and Sydney, because they realize that, the Power Squad or the rest of the group isn't there. And Sydney's like, asks if they're all just plotting. I wonder if they're all just plotting. It's not the first time she's done this. So we don't know who's going to kiss who, but they decide amongst themselves. And then, so we watch them all talking. And so we see that Toby kisses Garbie, which would be normal because they're friends, they're from the UK, and he just does it in a way that he might normally do it. Johnny kisses Nicola. So this is when we, the audience, find out that the duel is going to be between Garbie and Nicola. And then Lucinda kisses Josh. And it was funny. He's just like all for it. She gives him a kiss on each cheek. And then Gabby kisses Kendall. And I feel like Garbie noted, well, it's so hard with the camera, what they do with this show. Like, they made it seem as if Garbie noticed. So that's who the duel is going to be. It's going to be Garbie versus Nicola and Josh versus Kendall. Okay? Andrea is really struggling because, of course, she's Josh's partner and she feels like she's really being deceptive. But to be honest, she doesn't really have much of a choice. And Tyreek definitely is a really strong voice in this. And yeah, it's just so sinister. That's what I have in my notes. It's so sinister, but lovely. But again, like, we don't know what's going to happen. Okay. So one by one, they all go down to rejoin the group because it is still, after that sloppy sweet tooth game and all of that stuff. So everybody's still kind of gathered and talking. And that's how the people that disappeared were kind of able to like ease back to the group and give each person the kiss of death. And these people don't know. But what is so sinister is that they're doing this the night before and the people don't know. So they're not going to find out until the next day kind of what is going on and what happened. So, and the other crazy part is, except for like Johnny and Gabby are part of it, most of them are with partners of people that are going to be eliminated. okay? Like, Toby is with Sydney. Tyreek is with Justine. Lucinda is with, not Lucinda, sorry. Yeah. Garbie and Kendall are together, so that's fine. Andrea is with Josh. Oh my goodness. And Lucinda and Isaiah are together, so that's fine. But it's just kind of like, it is so sinister, you guys watching it. But so they all go to sleep, sneaky people. And then it's the next day, okay? And the other crazy thing about Sydney is when they go to bed that night, Sydney says, do you think there'll be a duel tomorrow to Toby? I'm telling you, she is literally like the foreshadowing for this show. So then it's the next morning when they have to serve them breakfast and everything. Yeah, so the next day, everybody's giving everybody breakfast. They all went to bed at night as if nothing happened, and they're giving them breakfast. Oh my goodness, you guys, when I tell you that I could never, ever, ever do this, I'm just too honest. The other thing that stood out too was when Tyreek brought Justine breakfast, and then Garbie's like, you guys do look cute together. And Justine's like, Ty, remember that at the next recoupling. Foreshadowing, foreshadowing. So then after they all have breakfast and everything and they're gathered together, they get a text. They get a text, and the weird thing about the day is also Nicola, just how she's just so happy on this day and she's so positive. But then they get the text that explains that there's going to be a duel and how they decided they were going to do the duel, which was by giving them a kiss. And so then they each figure out the kisses that they got the day before. Yep, so they find this out. Of course, different people have different reactions to it. Josh and Kendall, especially Josh. Josh has been very intense with this show. He's like just really pissed because he's like, he knows he's a target. He knows he's been a target. He's not a fan of Johnny. So kind of they talk to Isaiah while the three stooges, Tyreek, Toby, and Johnny, are sitting there looking at Isaiah, talking to them. And then Lucinda's like freaking out. She's like, oh my God, I can't take this. I can't take this. Don't say anything bad about Zay. Don't talk about Zay. Lucinda, she's so extra at times. So you really see, like, I'm just telling you, like, Toby, this is from last season. I really liked him. But when he turned on Sally last season, I'm so sorry. I keep going back to it. Blame it on the After Sun because they re-showed it the first episode, which brought it all back of what he did and how intense he was. And that's how I feel. Like, I feel like he's a good-looking guy, but he always has this like sinister type of look to him all the time. It's Tyreek has like a more of a cheeky, menacing type of look, but not so much mean spirited. Like Toby, I don't know, like maybe he's a super nice guy, but on this, he just has these mean spirited undertones to me. And then Johnny is just playing the game full throttle, whatever he has to do, whoever he has to have an alliance with. That's what he does. So now the people that, they figure out who kissed them. And Gabby's like, oh my God, Johnny kissed me. And so everybody's like kind of gone off talking. Okay. So Gabby's actually gone off with Justine, and Kendall is talking to Garbie, and Josh has a conversation with Andrea. Andrea, she's hard to figure out I do think she really likes him, but she's also a gamer. Like she's just a gamer. It is what it is, right? And then who else? Who else is there? Gabby, Kendall, and then yeah, Garbie and Kendall, Josh. Yeah. So they're each having their conversations, but what really strikes you on this is Nicola, and just how she's talking to Justine, and Justine's really encouraging her, and she always says, "Is your butt about your balance? I need balance." And then she's like, "What is a joust? What is a joust?" So Justine actually helps to pump Nicola up, showing her what happens like in a joust, and they kind of have like a cushion joust and stuff. It's actually kind of cute, and I have always liked Nicola's personality, but I know there are people that, because of what happened with KK, but I don't it's not what happened with KK, it's the audience's reaction to whenever a black woman stands up for herself or says anything that's not of smooth character, that the audience just turns on them. I'm aware of this because I told y'all I am not going on social media. I'm not even going on the Love Island Games page. I'm aware of these things because I do follow. I'll go and see like Anonymous T. She does always try to, pump people up and be positive. Oh, and I'm learning her voice. And Anonymous T, she always says, no, 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 no. I'm trying to learn that. I want to like do an imitation of the reviewers and YouTubers that I can actually imitate. So, but when she says that, I was like, no. So that's how I'm aware of the things, because I am not going to go look at all that stuff. It literally affects my psyche reading all of the crazy, and that's why I was able to enjoy Love Island season 2, and that's why I'm able to enjoy the games, because I'm not going to read all of this negativity that people post about. But Josh and Andrea have an interesting conversation, and he knows they're gunning for him. And he's basically saying, I know you had no choice. I know you were railroaded into it type thing. But I've told y'all, I just think she's a gamer for real, for real. So the next scenes are going to be set up, and it's going to be for the duel. And it's going to be this crazy duel. I'm just going to call them what I call it. I don't know what they really called it on the show. I'm going to call it the heavy medicine ball duel, where they have these big, heavy medicine balls. And basically, they're going to be throwing them back and forth across a low counter. And if you have more of the heavy medicine balls in your corner when the loud buzzer goes off, you are the loser. So the idea is to get rid of the medicine balls, okay? And so the very first joust that takes place is between Nicola and Garbie. So the pep talks start. Kendall talks to Casey. He also talked to Isaiah before this. Josh looks like he's doing extreme calisthenics with his leg and his hip. I can't do that. Stretching in the bathroom. He's really intense on this show. I've never seen the challenge, but maybe he should be on that. And then Justine is still working with Nicola, and Nicola's so pumped up. She's so excited because she's like, I'm strong. I can do this. And Justine's like really been coaching her and staying with her. So then they're all gathered, and it's time for the duel to start. So the first two to duel are going to be Nicola and Garbie with these heavy medicine balls. And, Nicola, whenever she's going into a challenge, she definitely goes in full throttle, full speed ahead. Like, I got this, I got this. Like, she really has stayed so positive. Like, and another thing, like, her looks are unique, and I and maybe that's why people haven't talked to her, but I actually like her features. They're different, and honestly, I don't do, with like makeup stuff. I can do my own makeup, but honestly, she actually, when she had her hair up in the bun for this, she does have a beautiful face, y'all. I'm not just being, corny. She has different features, but different is amazing. Okay. Hello. Hello. Have you all seen Halle Bailey? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Different can be beautiful. Can we remember this? So anyway, they've got these medicine balls lined up. There's five of them. And like I said, the idea is for them to have the most balls in the corner. So the first round is Garbie and Nicola. And Nicola is like, she's so cute. She's chucking those balls, and she's like trying to, I think, sorry, Garbie, I think, pushed them all down towards her side first, as that being a tactic. And then Garbie's like throwing them all back. So they go back and forth, go back and forth. You can tell they're really heavy. At some point, too, after I know that Ariana asked Garbie if she's okay, like how her breathing is. And then everybody's there cheering them on. Kendall is cheering for Garbie, and they're cheering for Nicola. And basically, the end of the round one, because it's the best two out of three, I believe, for this one. So Garbie wins the first duel, and then it's time for the second one. And so the second one is what has caused, I believe, a lot of discourse and comments online. And I kind of post how I'm really feeling. So basically, what happens in the second one is, and it is an accident, it was not planned. I just wonder if anybody who watches a show has ever been an athlete, has ever had adrenaline, has ever been in a competition. Like, I may not be an athlete now, but I was when I was younger, and I know the adrenaline it takes to do this type of stuff. So in the second duel, Nicola, like, she really starts out so strong, and she's just giving everything with her might. You know what I mean? And Garby is just picking those things up and throwing them. And then she throws one, and it ends up hitting Nicola in the head, and she falls to the ground. And Tyreek, though, he doesn't know if he's laughing or if he's scared. That guy, he's such a kid. But Garby immediately goes over because she does know what she did, and everybody really looks upset and stunned. And I I was really upset here, you guys, because I have a concussion. I post about it. You'll see it in my write up. I'm a post concussion crusader. I just walked into something at my job, and it has altered my life for 6.5 years. I'm just now coming back, like, from a relapse, and actually posting about Love Island, doing this storytelling. It's actually helped me with my speech, my vocabulary, everything, and also focusing on something that doesn't have to do with my real life. So, you know what? Yes, there's nothing funny about it, because I even saw Summer. I think, I don't know where, I popped into like different people doing reviews, and listen, I walked into something. That's it. That's it. It altered my whole life. Walked into it, was rushing into work, walked into a stairwell that has concrete, banged my head. I was fine all day at work until 3:43, and then my entire life has changed for over 6 years, and that's it. And I have two other friends who also just banged their head, one on the plane, one on a table, okay? So don't tell me, when it comes to concussions, it's no joking matter. So the medical team comes, they take Nicola away, but she's crying, but she's still saying, no, I want to fight, I want to fight, and they take her away. But I know medically she can't fight. And I don't understand the discourse about this, like it's not fair, she has to come back. Y'all, head injuries are serious. You can't take it for granted. And it is not Garbie's fault. There's no way Garbie did that on on purpose. Like, come on, you guys, come on. Let's be real. So the end result, after they wait, and I can't tell if it's the next day, but the sun changes. But one thing about this show, some of these duels go on for much longer than we actually see. So they let them know that Garbie won't be returning. I'm sorry, they let them know that Nicola won't be returning and that Garbie by default has won the duel. Okay. But it's sad, and it was hard for me to continue to watch the show, to be honest. So I'm glad it's not on tonight. And then it's like, okay, let me do my think piece tonight. So then after all of that, Garbie is the winner. And then they set up for the next duel, which is Josh and Kendall. And let me tell you, Josh is like a crazy angry machine because he's like, oh, I'm gonna, Josh, he's just so intense, right? He's like, I'm coming back, I'm coming back, my wrath will be on Johnny and the group. That's kind of his mindset. And he goes in there, and even when they're talking about it, he's like, everything's shaking, like his feet, his hands. He's like super, super duper intense. But it's Kendall and Josh. And I think one really great thing about Kendall in this show, like, he's not all, absy. He's fit, but, not like these other guys. And to me, he's not your typical tough guy. You know what I mean? But Kendall puts up a fight. Kendall holds his own. Like, he did really good. So it starts out, and they're just moving so fast, and these things are super heavy. And if you even look at it and you see how they just throw them, and Josh is freaking catching them, like, it's nuts, okay? But the way they throw them, no, you can't plan to throw it and hurt somebody. You just can't. You're just trying to get rid of them, okay? So Garbie's really like yelling, yelling for Kendall. So Josh wins the very first round, okay?
Kendall, I'm sorry.
And then Josh, literally by a second, wins because the two of them are kind of fighting over this one, and Josh just barely gets it over the barrier. So Josh ends up winning the duel. And yep, so Josh wins. Kendall is like, he was upset. He was trying to do it for Garbie. And then they have to pack. Well, it's only him packing his bag, which really I don't think hit me till today because Nicola was injured. So I don't know if they are going to do, like, they're going to let people know how she's doing or anything. Or I don't know where I'll find that out. I'll see if maybe another YouTuber posts that. So yeah, so it's bittersweet, but Josh gets to stay there with Andrea. Kendall leaves by himself with his suitcase, but the weird thing about before he leaves is like, who is more upset, Lucinda or Garbie? But you know how they are with this editing. They make it look like Garbie isn't really upset and Lucinda is crying and holding on to him and Kendall's holding on to her. But listen, this show and the editing, they like to do that stuff, They love that. That's what they specialize in, okay, is the editing to make things look a certain way. And so Kendall heads off, and that is how it ends. So Josh stays in the villa and Garbie stays in the villa. So I'm sure that the show on Thursday night is going to be crazy. But thank you so much for listening to my recap, run through, think piece of what happened on last night's show. As I said, in Canada, they call it episode 12. On Peacock, they call it episode 14. So I'll just write I'll write episode 12 and 14 on this. But yes, thank you for listening. Stay blessed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, try to keep that positive mindset, and remember that this is just a show. It's a show that we enjoy. But I do think that these duels, you didn't see season one. Jack pretty much nearly had to get rushed to the hospital. It was a whole thing. They literally will duel forever, like until somebody wins. But I do feel there seem to be safety features or something missing. And I don't know like who holds people accountable for what happens on the show when there's an injury, but I do hope that whatever the next duel is, that they have a lot more safety precautions, because even as a viewer, like I said, I was really triggered. And again, I just hope that Nicola is okay. All right. So thank you so much for listening, for watching. Check my page, listen to my other recaps, and I will talk to you again. See you next time. Like I always say, that's what's up.